that, you know, basically atheists are all cunts as well. And I've said some outrageous things, but what I'm about to do might take that, because I'm going to defend Nuclear Night. Now, I realise Nuclear Night is about as popular as Joseph Fritzl's dad being invited to the fucking Father of the Year Awards, because, let's face it, he couldn't have done a good enough job himself either. But even though Nuke is about as fucking welcome round here at times as a fucking fart in a spacesuit, I will defend her in this sense. 100 years ago, right, when, you know, women, you know, were complaining about, you know, oh God, we want equal, you know, basically men were off killing each other in war, and women were at home, safe, you know, watching Countdown or whatever was on back then. I don't know. And they weren't happy with that. They wanted to, they felt that was wrong. And I think the men would have gone, well, fucking right too. And so they went around and they, you know, they did things like, you know, chucking themselves under the king's horse and fucking killing, you know, animal cruelty and fucking up the Grand National. Do you know how much money would have been lost for chaining themselves in the Houses of Parliament, and, you know, and which nowadays would have just resulted in them being egged for a while, and, you know, being anorexic, you know, hunger strike, which is just eating disorders nowadays. They just manipulate your fucking language, right? But at the time, these women were seen as a fucking nuisance. And women at the time, a lot of women at the time, I was there, I've done the research. A lot of women at the time would you just all sod off, you know? And this was proper feminism. This was like the Spice Girls, right? Who are to feminism what, you know, what Land Rovers are to the fucking long jump. I mean, fucking Spice Girls, yeah, fucking sporty, no tits, scary, annoying bitch, baby, Pinot, babe, ginger, big tits anyway, doesn't fucking matter, and posh, yeah, she fucking married David Beckham and he looks like an episode of Bryce Edward Visited next to her. But there was proper feminism when women, like, you know, women had balls, you know, and, you know, and men fucking caved in. We did it, you know. Because men, you got to, and the women in this making sex on this video, you know, these women, they were sort of, you know, saying that we don't need it. No, girls. Let me tell you something. Let me let you in on a secret, because, you know, all men, we all know that men, you know, are all secretly in contact with, we understand everything, because, you know, men know how to work together in spite of their differences. Fucking poly-redded. Women don't know how to do this. Women just, you know, how much fucking time do you see videos of women bitching at each other on YouTube? Right? They make up 20%, right? For fuck's sake, girls, it doesn't matter, right? I know some of you don't like the fact that there are women on here who, you know, have a very high, what I call sticky keyboard factor. It's not their fucking fault, right? And it's not your fault if you've, you know, been born with no tits and you've got a face like a fucking welder's bench. That's not your fault either, right? But don't blame people for being sexy. I can't help it. But these women say, hey, people go, oh, you know, feminism is dead. No. Because girls, basically, men still, are in control of, you know, most shit around here. You know, and that, you know, because, you know, even though mitochondrial Eve appeared several thousand years before mitochondrial Adam, so we gave you a head start. We evolved at the same speed. You had every opportunity and you didn't get your fucking shit together, right? I'm kidding, of course, but the fact is, you don't know what men are like. In general, men are, particularly men in power, they're bastards. You know, and they don't give a shit. And occasionally, even the most seemingly dignified and erudite of gentlemen will suddenly start to abuse his position. And girls, at times like that, you're going to find yourself in a position where you are, as a female, you know, as a non-male woman of the opposite sex, no cock, you are finding yourself in a weakened position. And fuck your fucking European courts at that point. Chuck your fucking, you know, your equal rights bills and your fucking shit. Fuck all that shit. Right? You don't need that at that point. You can be as rational and reasonable and it don't matter, because men are in charge of that shit too. Do you know what you need at a time like that? Do you know what you need when you're in that position and you could find yourself in it? You need a fucking pit bull in a frock. Right? You need Satan with a pair of tits to walk in there and scare men shitless. And Nuclear Night does that wonderfully. I've seen her do it on YouTube countless times. You know, she says things that are a bit, you know, a thousandth of, you know, a thousand times less offensive than the nicest things I've ever said. And I've seen men's bollocks shrivel up because they've just been mugged off by a girl. And they don't like it. Yes, I understand. Yeah, I don't agree with all and everything, but who cares, for fuck's sake, you know? If we all agreed with each other and everything, we wouldn't be here, you know? You know, and, you know, pornography is fucking, and you know, I love it. I love it. You know, it's great. Naked, sexy people having naked, sexy fun, and me sitting there watching it with them not knowing. It's fabulous, right? And it's the third biggest industry in the world. Third. It's the only genre that has its own industry. Only oil and music make more money every year than pornography, and the oil's running out. And thanks to BP, that's going to happen a hell of a lot quicker. Right? Do you think we'll have wars for porn next? Yeah. And I've just got suddenly Iraq war porno names going through my head. Yeah. Whore on terror, weapons of mass destruction. Go off in 45 minutes. Boner Blair sexing up the dossier. So, you can't do it with American names. George W. Bush, it's just the same. Joe Lesbian. Levi Johnson. You can't do it. But then that's probably because America is responsible for 90% of the world's pornography. Yes, good Christian nation. In America, right, right, and I know, I've checked this, I've been there, I've done it. There is a pornographic film, movie, right, finished every 37 minutes. Every 37 minutes. I can't keep up. The top three websites, the top three web pages, countries with the most pornographic web pages, right? Number 3 and 2 are Denmark and Germany with about 12,000 each. Right? America's number 1 with 265,000. Right? How do you fucking find the time, you people? Jesus Christ! No, that's the thing. There's just never enough of it. It's produced at a rate, and the reason, but the thing is, right, even though we will defend, women will defend the right to, you know, for people to have sex on film, and that's great, right? I'm not doing it, well, you know, not publicly, but, or at least not when I'm aware, but here's the thing. Nobody should want to do porn movies. They are horrid. It's a horrid business to be in, and as a man who has done lots of research, I've never been in one, right? I've never acted in one, right? And I was enjoying it the whole time. You know, there is, I know the female element of it. I get the female. You know, I get why it's degrading. I mean, it's kind of a fucking sad state of affairs when the only job in the world where women can make like for like up to 5 times as much as the men is when basically they have to be naked and fucked by a stranger. You know, whose name is Sir Lances a lot, and her name is fucking Titney Spheres or something. You know, I could see why that would be. You know, it's a shame that it's not involving, you know, something to do with, you know, I don't know, science or stuff, you know. But it's a horrid industry to work. You have to be, you know, no one should choose to do it. It's not a lot of fun. Men always go, oh, it'd be great, I'd do it. Yeah, well, fucking do it. It's easy. You know, there's always. When I used to do acting, I used to get the Stage magazine, most popular industry. Acting industry, porn everywhere. Right? You do porn, you know, and pages of porn. Men don't do it. Men don't want to be in porn. Right? You don't want to do it because it's not as fun as it looks. Right? And it's particularly, and the stunt cock, right? The idea that you have to work your fucking nuts off, literally, for 6 hours, and then at the end, because you can't deliver the goods, you have to get another man in to ejaculate for you, and you have to pay him like 30% if you wage check. Can you think of anything more fucking demoralising for a man to go through? You can't. You go home. You go, I can't even fucking jizz anymore, right? You can't jizz in your pants, right? It's not a fucking fun industry, you know. It's horrid. It's depressing. It's middle, and it does need regulation. It does need more regulation, because I know that, you know, women are, you know, there's lots of women who make a living from it, and, you know, fair play to them. I'm grateful, right? I've contributed, but at the end of the day, you know, they're all, you know, it's fucking miserable. I've never met one with any sense of fucking humanity, and, you know. But at the end of the day, some people just end up going there. It's a place for the dispossessed, and who are we to argue? And if it didn't exist in an industry, it would exist in amateur form on the internet. We'd have YouTube with pornography, which is basically, at times, it's YouTube, right? And so you've got to have that regulation. It's a bit like wrestling in that sense, you know. We watch wrestling. I mean, I don't watch wrestling. I don't wank over wrestling anymore, right? I got out of that. Wouldn't that be terrible if you got hypnotised and you watched wrestling and you watched pornography and you're like, come on, elbow drop. It wouldn't be. But it's like, it looks fun. It looks great. It looks like a lot of, and all the people physically, you know, and they're marketed and sold and exploited as. You know, this is what looking good is. You know, having, you know, muscles the size of a fucking midget's head and tits bigger than your own fucking, you know, your own mother's. You know, this is what it's sold at. It's the same concept, but it's depressing as fuck. You know, wrestlers die at an hourly rate now. They're all miserable. No one would want to do this. You have to be depressed and fucking damaged as hell. Yeah, you know, but it's fun to watch. Where do you draw the line? You know. So yeah, you know, don't have a go at feminism, you know, because there'll come a time when you need them. You might not fucking believe it, but you'll need them, right? Because where was I talking about? Sex in the City. Yes, these fucking. It's now had 2 movies. It's had. I don't know what the fuck it's about. It just seems to be about a bunch of 50-year-old fucking, you know, wrinkly-assed fucking. You know, in their last leggings, getting some in before their arse collapses and turns into a little oblong in their trousers, and their tits finally go sagging to the point where it's just like 2 Shar-Pei puppy ears, and their wrinkles are so point they've gone beyond the 7 signs of oil of Olay aging to the 8th dimension, and you know, and basically their vagina will end up looking like a ripped out fireplace. But this, or maybe they just want a kid and they want someone to come in, blow his beans up there, and they just fucking, you know, stick one in their oven before the gas runs out. You know, please stop me if I'm being too, you know, technical or scientific here. But what's empowering about being disgusting, you know? I mean, I understand that. I'm the least powerful person on this planet. There are fucking orphans in Rwanda who were born yesterday who have more influence and power. You know? It's not I don't get that, right? You know, certainly empowering us of sexual freedom, that's great, that's brilliant, it works, right? But being and now they've got this one, it's called Cougar Season, which has got 3 other actresses. Again, one of them's Courtney Cox, who I've never found attractive. She looks like, she just looks like a fucking, she's like sucking on a lemon look. I find her about as appealing as a Brillo pad covered in horse shit. And 2 other actresses, who again, I have no idea, they're probably the 2 from the other show. But it's called Cougars, and it's basically the same fucking thing, because these women are now, you know, and now getting in their 50s, and now there's going to be a huge fucking spate of TV shows dedicated to octogenarian fucking whores, right? And we're supposed to sit here and consider that. I'm supposed to sit here and go, yes, this is this is feminism of the day, is it? This is how we're going. It's not fucking Jermaine Greer, or it's not anything creative. No, it's like, girls, you are free to be a complete and utter whore. And sit around talking about your partner's sexual effluvia flavour as if it's some fucking, you know, Ben and Jerry's special. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, they don't do it the other way round. When you're going to get, you know, go the full hog if it's empowering. If it's empowering, go the full fucking, you know, do it with, you know, men. Do it with, you know, I want to see Wilford Brimley, Brian Dennehy, and Ian McKellen in Grandfather's Clock. You know, Viagra Road Trip or something like that. Go for the full one. You know, get Judi Dench, Helen Mirren, Joanna Lumley, and Barbara Bush, and just call it, you know, the 4 wizard sleeved cunted women, or, you know, Bucket Biff and Clown Pocket. Go into, you know, if that's, you know, what it is, basically, you know. But no, you wouldn't do that. You're not going to have these fucking. It's not empowering to me. You know. What I think empowers people is when they just are. Well, they don't tell people what fucking empowerment is. You know, I mean, people have a go at Lacey Green. I'm going to defend Lacey Green. And yes, I'm going to defend Lacey Green